Hi, Grandpa here. Look, today we're going to be cooking some pizza. Now, we're going to concentrate on this video on the basics of the pizza, which is obviously the dough or the pizza base and the sauce. Now, I've been trying to make a delicious pizza. The search took me over 20 years, tweaking different recipes and getting a lot of help. I think I have the dough that's going to allow you to make a wonderful, wonderful thin crust pizza that's reminiscent of the pizza that's served in Brooklyn, New York. Let's go make some dough. The ingredients are simple and basic. In a small bowl, mix some water along with your yeast and then your sugar. You'll want to let this set till the yeast froths up. That'll take between 5 and 10 minutes. And while the yeast is proofing or setting up, we'll mix the salt in with the flour that we've already sifted and just give it a good stir up. Now, if the yeast is finished proofing and has a nice froth on it, like I said, about 5 or 6 minutes, you'll add the oil to the yeast and sugar and water mixture, and you'll mix those together well so they're blended, and then you'll add those to the dry ingredients in the bigger bowl. Use the fork to mix up the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients and blend them pretty good together. The idea is to start to form a dough. Once it gets a little too difficult using the fork to mix it together, put some flour on your hands and just go in there and use your hands to blend it together and get the basis of a dough. Now, after a little bit of this, the dough will start forming really good and it won't be sticking to your hands as much. Once it's not really sticky, what you want to do is take some flour, dust your surface with it, and dump the dough out and then start kneading. All told, you're going to want to knead from this point for probably about 10 minutes to get the consistency of the dough that you want. It's pretty important to knead for that long to get a really nice stretchy dough. After kneading for about 5 minutes, your dough should be picking up most of the flour that's on your board, and also it shouldn't be sticking to your hands, and it'll start having a smoother, silkier texture. At the 10-minute mark, it's just about ready to be set aside to rise, but first we'll give it the golf ball test. Pull off a bit of dough about the size of a golf ball or ping pong ball or walnut. Use your fingers to press and stretch it out to a very thin crust thickness. If it stretches to where you can see the shadow of your finger through the other side of the dough without it ripping, it's been kneaded enough and you have a nice pliable dough. Now it's time to cover it and let it rise. You want to form your dough into a rounded shape. Take your bowl, pour a little olive oil in it, spread it around in the bottom of the bowl, put your dough into the bowl, move it around to get it lightly covered with oil on all spots. Cover the bowl with some plastic wrap or a tea towel. Set it in a warm place for about an hour, or at least until it doubles in size. When the dough is risen, you're going to divide it up based on the size of the pizzas that you want to make. We're making 14-inch pizzas, and with this recipe, that's going to give us 2 bases. We're just going to spread out the dough and cut it pretty much evenly into 2 pieces. And then we're going to roll up the pizzas into a ball, and we're going to do one or two things. We can wrap them in plastic wrap and put them in the refrigerator to use another day, or we can wrap it in plastic wrap, let it set about another half hour or 15 minutes, and then use it to make a base. Oh, that sauce in the jar. Here's a secret. This one here is pretty darn simple. It's made of canned tomatoes, a little bit of oregano, and a wee little bit of pepper. And you come out with a nice, rich sauce. It's very fresh tasting, which is the nicest thing. Stand by and watch the video. See what we can do for you. Okay, we're going to make some pizza sauce, quick and easy. Take a can of tomatoes. Use whole tomatoes, you put them in a food processor. You can use a blender instead of the food processor. I guess you can even mash them up with a potato masher if you want. Okay, now very complicated. Put in a teaspoon of dried oregano, quarter of a teaspoon of salt, and 2 shakes of pepper. Fresh ground if possible. Put the lid on. Blend it up. Put it in the fridge until you need it. Thank you for watching. I love making pizza. I love eating pizza, and I love talking about pizza, so this has been a pleasure. If you have any questions, just comment in the section down below. We'll see you next time. And a shout out to my grandson Oliver, who had trouble eating pizza since he lost another tooth over the weekend. Hey, Ollie.